welcome to episode 47 of an Earful podcast. On this episode, we are joined by Stu and Craig of The Young Hearts, talking all about their debut album, The Modern State.
And ooh, boy, is it a good one. We talk all about the making of the debut album, the writing process, being a band during all this good pandemic stuff. We talk about parcel experiences, we talk dogs, we talk everything. And plus pet peeves and horror films, the usual, you know.
Yeah, and don't forget to check us out on socials, you know where they all are. We want to mention our Discord again as well. If you want to join it, there's loads of different things in there we can talk about. Watch parties, get involved in, all sorts. So yeah, and just give us questions that you want us to ask other guests as well, which is a cool thing. Gets you more involved in the experience. But yeah, enjoy the episode anyway.
Enjoy.
Hello. How are you doing?
Not
How
bad,
you doing,
how are you?
guys?
Good. What have you been up to recently anyway, guys?
Ooh, I think, Craig, you've got more to say than I have at the moment.
Well, I've just been working relentlessly all the time, basically. That's the only thing there is to do at the moment, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, crowds your calls.
Now, 60, 70 hours a week, just earn that money.
Jesus Christ. It's a grind.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How are
Yeah,
you
just
not
a bit.
asleep right now?
I had a nap earlier.
Alright, good. What is it you do, Craig?
I have to. I'm a postman.
Oh, okay.
Sick. That's well good.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not the best in this kind of weather, but yeah,
Oh, no.
it's all right most of the time. But
Yeah,
it's just been a crazy year basically. Like, it's normally my job's pretty cushy, but the last year, the pandemic and everything, it's just been mad, absolutely mad.
That's it. Like everyone, like I work in logistics myself, and everyone's obviously just ordering online now, aren't they? Because no shops are open. So it's
Yeah.
basically like Christmas, like every fucking month, innit?
Yeah, and then Christmas
Mental.
was just even worse.
Yeah, Christmas plus this on top. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
That's basically what you said, Craig, wasn't it? It's like Christmas, but every day of your life.
Yeah,
Apart from having the
basically.
fun. Apart from having
Yeah,
the fun
exactly.
side of it.
The downside.
I don't get to
of
drink
Christmas.
as much every evening.
Mate, I'm sure you're trying.
I do, I definitely do.
I'm the complete opposite to Craig at the moment. So I'm like minus hours. I'm not working at all. So I am like, I'm very much just deep head into promoting the album at the
Yeah,
moment.
of course.
That's what I'm
That's
doing.
cool.
I
That's
took 6 months off to do it.
Nice.
Unpaid.
Yeah, I'm paid. I really, really love this band.
Yeah, I should
Yeah,
say
we get him a
nice,
beer
actually.
occasionally.
Yeah, I bet it's been good just having that time though to actually focus on doing that. Obviously, I know it probably does get boring though, like doing anything, but
Yeah, so in the kind of, it has been nice having someone there just to be available to do everything right away.
yeah,
I'm not saying I do that all the time anyway, but I very much would jump on things. So it has been nice to have no distractions and just be able to go on with that kind of stuff. It's given me focus as well. And it's been a very important time. So maybe this has been like the best timing, shall we say.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's been? Sorry, Matt, go on.
No, go on, mate.
Do you feel like it's been a bigger challenge for yourself to actually like promote this album a bit more? Because obviously you can't just go out on tour or play some shows and promote it that way. Like, have you had to figure out more ways to sort of like push it? If you know what I mean.
It's made us all very conscious and aware, and almost it's given us all like almost in like a new lease of life, because it's a brand new album. A lot of people never heard of us and just starting to hear us now because of this album. So we're brand new to everyone. So that now gives us a new attitude, a new drive to carry on and just promote and be as good as we can. And whereas before we were a little bit lazy with content, now we're just having to roll it out all the time. And it does make a difference.
I don't think it was a little bit to do with laziness, but it was also a lot to do with we never really we're very old school in the sense of that we just want to go out, we just want to play shows like the way we grew up, that's how you did it. But now we've had to realise, especially through this pandemic, that the social media is such a massive part of being in a band. Like, it's insane. So we've spent the last 6 months trying to get to grips with that And now, obviously, Stu's got the time at the moment to really push it, but that's all we can do these days. Like, normally we would have just jumped in a bus and gone and played a load of tours or shows or everything we could that way to promote it, but like we can't do that, so we're just having to learn it all again.
And the issue with that is it's constantly changing as well. It's like, well, Instagram isn't pushing this stuff as much anymore, so it does become your full-time job of focusing on the best way to make people know that this is out, your debut album.
Yeah, it's trying to be ahead of the curve, which is impossible because you never know what trends are going to do, but it is all about just being aware and just trying stuff as well. I think we're all a little bit older, we're all in our 30s, so I'm trying new content, which in some ways might seem scary to us. So in some ways, like, you know, TikTok, I'm like, what is this? But then I'm like, oh, there's actually avenues where you can get past all the rubbish and you can concentrate on the good stuff. And there is, I think it's Trash Boat put out some really good content on there. And so there is actually some stuff which isn't as, what's the right word to say? It's not as kiddie.
Weird, yeah.
You're not as weird,
That's why I've not dove on it. Ooh. Sorry, Matt, go on.
Sorry. It's. I think it's interesting how, in terms of how a band works and the way it has to function now, how it's juggles so many like different roles in one thing now in comparison to, you say 10 years ago, it was what, you had a MySpace, you had an EP on the CD, and you went to your shows and you just passed them around. And now it's like you need to be on your content, you need to be having a plan of how you're going to release everything, you need to know about your fucking distribution of how it works, you need to be equally balancing all your different social media so you can catch different audiences. It's like an absolute mind boggle to what it used to be.
And that's not even like including the songs, like do you think
be a band
the main
as well.
part is you write the song, so
no one ever told us we were going to be this or professional. Like when you get together with, so we're all basically all best friends. That's like, you know, sad story, like, you know, a lot of people say that, but we are truly, we've been in bands together before, matured together, and we've grown up together.
Yeah.
So it's just the way you get on with things is mad, because we'll never go to practice room and then go, we have to be good at social media, we have to be good at editing, that was never a thing. It was just, we grew up listening to bands like Bruce Springsteen and stuff like that. He didn't have to worry about that. It was a different time, but we're having to worry about a separate kind of a new wave. It's not new, but it is very much evident. It's a very strong path now.
I think the annoying factor is everyone's competing for that microscopic bit of attention from someone.
Have a little like.
That's it. You know, just get them to stop doing this for a minute. Man, it's tricky.
You guys are all in bands as well, aren't you? Are you in the same band, am I right?
I'm not. These two either side of me.
Yeah. Okay.
I gave up on that and started a podcast.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we used to all us three be in the same band, didn't we? And then me and Matt
then decided never again.
And then us being idiots decided to press the reset button and do it all over again. But every time, I find it interesting that we went from a band where we were like, oh, we know what we need to do in terms of gigging, in terms of planning, going to the next stages, etc., etc. But then we took a 2-year break to write stuff before we released anything, and then it was all different again. Any contacts you had at venues were gone. They were doing something completely different, what wasn't relevant. And it was like, shit, you have to completely learn your craft again of how to network, build it all back up again. It's madness.
Yeah. You sound like you had a similar path as us, because me and Craig were in a band before with our guitarist Aaron, and we were a very similar lineup, but in this way that this band is very different from the old band, and that's just because the songs maturity writing. I mean, when you start writing songs at 20 compared to like later 20s, 30s, they're very different. But like I said, we were off the scene for so long, we come back to it and we're like, we just expected to kind of, not people like give us anything or know who we are, but we expected to jump into it a little bit easier. And if some ways the gigging and touring was, but everything else was like, oh, okay, this is hard work.
No, absolutely. I think, I could definitely relate to that, because you were like, oh, well, people knew us from that last band, right? We'll be okay because people just like, oh, I like this band, so let's just go to this band instead. And then it's all of a sudden like, oh, I shouldn't have really felt like I was entitled to the like or the following because I did something that they liked from fucking 3 years ago. It's like no.
Yeah, man, you do have like a reality check though, especially when we first started our first ever band back in high school, and you think everything's at your hands. Like you think, right, we're going to make this band, we're going to release some songs, get signed, and that's it. It's as easy as that. Like, no, it's not. You start doing it, and you soon realise you get knocked down a peg, and you're like, "Fuck."
Yeah. There was a key example of that where there was a film that came out, must be over 10 years ago now. It was a film with the guy who played Dwight in The Office. It was called The Rocker.
Really?
It's basically about this like old drummer who used to be in the 80s, and he's joined like his nephew's band or something, and then he's like all of a sudden they get signed, and we're like, us being like fucking 12, like that's how easy it is to get signed. All we need to do is that.
Just watch The Rocker.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
That's what we're going to do for motivation.
It was a naked drummer, wasn't it? Went viral. Drumming naked. That's all you need to do. Well, it's true though. These days, if you can get something good to go viral, you've done it.
Oh,
it's mental, isn't it?
Craig has a few stories when he has a few shandies, so maybe.
Yeah, I don't think we could put them on the internet though.
No,
let's find out. Go make yourself a drink, Craig.
I've got to be out for 2:30 for work. It's probably not a good idea.
Have a nap, it's fine. Power through.
Caffeine fixed it.
Yeah, that would be nice.
So, am I right in saying the fucked up world we're in now with coronavirus put a twist on the way you have to, get in front of people's eyes because you can't tour now? So what did you do to switch that up? And I know you've committed 6 months to it.
Oh, it's just kind of a lot to do with like doing these sorts of podcasts and interviews and stuff like that, because at the moment, like, we can't even practice in the same room as each other. So I mean, with regards to promoting the album, all we can do is just talk about it. So it's things like this that really help us out. But so, like, we don't know what the situation's going to be within a couple of months. Hopefully, if things start to get better, then we can get in the practice room and maybe sort of set up some live stream sessions or something like that. But
hell yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, man.
Like we did record a few live versions back in September, which we were going to put out earlier, and then obviously we thought, seeing as we can't actually practice or play together at all anymore, we'll save them and maybe sort of push them out once the album's out to kind of prolong that sort of cycle a bit more. But yeah, apart from that, it's bloody hard.
Yeah, it's not easy. But how going more positive than us all going, oh yeah, it's shit. How does it feel to actually put a debut album out?
Oh, it's I don't know, Craig's better words than this for me, but it's very much a relief, and it's very much what I'd call a milestone. Not just maybe, I thought it was just a milestone as in within a band career, but I felt like it's actually a milestone within my own kind of personal life. So it's been amazing.
Let's face it, it's a fucking dream come true. Like, this is something we've wanted to put an album out. When you first sort of start playing guitar in your bedroom and jumping around in your pants, like pretending to be Bruce Springsteen or something, like, you think,
he's talking about him being drunk again.
This is last weekend.
This is Craig. This is a repeating theme here.
But yeah, it's a dream come true. Like, I mean, like when you first start being in bands, you don't think it's right to just put an album out. So you do your EPs and you kind of work up to it.
Yeah.
And with previous bands, we've always kind of got to that stage where we did the EPs, but we never kind of made it to the album. Like, something would always change, like the band would split up or someone would leave, or you get a bit bored with the sort of the genre and the songs you were writing. Whereas with this, we've been a band long enough now that it's still good. It's still fresh for us and it's still exciting. So it was the right point to sort of write and record an album, and we're well chuffed with it. So it's just going to prolong this band even more, I think. But yeah, dream come true.
How long has this album been in the making then? Like, how long have you been writing it for, and to get to this point?
We're not a band who do anything very fast, very rushed. So you could say we're quite methodical, deep thought, thinking, and we like to plan
OCD.
it. Or you could say that we're really hard work and don't know what the hell we're doing. I like to say it's the first one. So
it's a bit of both. It is a bit of both.
Some of these songs, which I think is typical of all bands, some of these songs are probably 4 or 5 years old.
The first one we wrote was 2016, I think. Yeah, it was just towards the end of 2016.
Maybe before that, like by the time you actually jam it and put it into a song, you know.
Yeah. Has it changed a lot in those years? Like, do you find like those songs that you wrote like maybe 4 years ago, have they like progressed throughout the years? Like you've gone back to them and maybe changed some bits? Or,
yeah, we always change stuff in the studio no matter what, and that's always exciting. This is we changed like keys in this album. We changed parts. I typically record bass, I believe, just before vocals, so vocals would go last. So I'll go to record parts and like, oh, by the way, Stu, this has changed, so you're gonna have to learn it on the spot. I'm like, okay, right, interesting. Oh, it's in a different key. Oh, interesting. Okay. So
it's only bass though, mate.
Yeah, no, it's basically I'm saying an E string. It's hard to play.
It's all right, man. I'm a bassist as well. I'm with you. Don't worry. Yeah, don't listen to these guys.
Yeah, we'll do our own separate podcast.
I have no idea what you're on.
Me with superior 6 strings.
Yeah, that's it.
But I think the main thing is, I think we hit a couple of songs where like, this is the future of the Young Hearts, this is how we'd like to sound, and then you home in on that sound and then you refine it and make it better. I'm not saying that this is the best stuff we've done. I know that come out wrong. This is
us
now. Way to promote it, Stu. Cheers, mate.
No, this is us like really happy and locked in with how we want to be as a band now and how we want to sound. And we're just going to take this momentum and just keep going with it.
So the sound has really evolved from the tracks you wrote 5 years ago have evolved into the sound of what we're hearing on the album from within the studio, basically.
Yeah, very much so. Like Craig's like 80% songwriter, so he's seeing him progress has been quite nice as well. Because in the old band, he wrote lyrics, but he didn't really. He had a backseat to the band, and he almost felt like he probably found it hard to kind of get involved. Where this one, he just really shines, like just really takes to his craft. You can really hear it in the music as well. It sounds like, it's my band I'm talking about, but when you sit back and listen to it, it's like the development of one person as well.
Oh, cheers, mate.
I ain't saying anything nice to the rest of it. So
I'll take it. It's the only thing you usually do.
Would you say that your approach to songwriting in general of the 5 years, would you say that there's been certain things that have kind of evolved the way that you approach songwriting, or would you say it's been a consistent theme? Or
I think it's definitely changed with the last EP and into this album. Because I started off when I first was in bands, I played in heavy sort of metal bands, and I wasn't singing then. I was literally just playing riffs and shredding basically. Right. And then when we started our last band, I was just the vocalist, and I don't know why, I just felt like it wasn't my place to write the guitar parts. So I'd let our guitarists write the songs, and then I would obviously write my vocal parts over the top, which I think I kind of learned it's not a way that I like to work writing songs, because for me, the most important part of a good song is a good catchy melody and good lyrics. And I think it's hard to write a really good melody over a chord progression that's already there. Whereas for me now, I will I'll come up with a melody in my head that I'm happy with, and then I'll sort of find the chords that work with it to complement it. So you're not kind of forcing anything; it's just coming naturally, and you end up coming out with the best sort of like result, really.
Yeah, you don't overthink it too much.
No. It's all about, for me, it's all about vocals. So I quite happily just use the same 4 chords, which I probably do, to be honest. But it's definitely sort of changed my priority in songwriting over the last sort of like 5-6 years.
It makes sense. Like, that's what's, I know personally when I'm listening to tracks, it's the melody and the lyrics that always get stuck in my head. So it makes sense to prioritize them over chords.
Yeah, especially this sort of the genre of music we're doing, like vocals are so key.
Yeah.
That you really need to have them on point.
Yeah, absolutely. I find it interesting in terms of songwriting in general, like how over, like you say, in this case, 5 years, how your musical taste overall expands. I know what I was like 5 years ago, that it was so like niche in one area.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, you just click that listening to other music is okay. You can dabble in jazz if you want, and then go back to Slipknot, and you'll still be the same person.
Yeah, I found with very much as well. Like Craig would probably agree with this, because some of the stuff we listen to. So obviously we come from the same town. We both raised in a family of very musically orientated, as in they're not people who play instruments as such, but it was always on. And I'd kind of had a similar background as Craig, where he was listening to a lot of these kind of very, very influential bands on him growing up. So coming back full circle, you're a young teenager and you start listening to your own stuff. You're like, yeah, Slipknot, blah blah blah. I'm only going to listen to this, and then you get a bit older. You meet other friends, and they progress you.
Yeah.
But what I found as I got a little bit older is I'm really dialing into some of these older bands which I grew up listening to as well, and I think that just proves the longevity of some of these certain kind of artists. You write a certain kind of song and it lasts forever, whereas some songs are just made, or artists are putting out songs just to be the click there and then. They're not thinking about 10 years ahead. And I'm not saying like we're the band that's going to be 10 years ahead doing anything, but we do like to try and write songs which have a longevity in a way, and not just the current trend.
You want something that's relatable, and that, you know what I mean, and something that you can like I said, relate to yourself emotionally as well, because I'm going to go on a rant about pop music nowadays, but you know what I mean? When you listen to something, like you said, it's just churned out just to please people's ears, but now who don't really care about music as such.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas, like you said, if you're on about bands like Bruce Springsteen, right, you know, coming out with stuff like he did back in like the 80s, like I said, it proves with the longevity of it that obviously there's a lot more meaning behind it, and it's going to last a lot longer than fucking like, I don't know, like, is in the charts these days. I don't know.
No idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Nicki Minaj, you know what I mean? Like, he's going to be listening to Nicki Minaj in 30 years.
And welcome to the Boomer podcast. Yeah.
There's that postman from Scotland who's just hit big, hasn't he? Doing the sea shanties and stuff.
Oh shit! Yeah.
We know a few guys who are in a band called Lottery Winners, and he ended up fucking collabing with Nickelback doing a sea shanty of Rockstar. Fucking Rockstar.
Fucking hell.
It's fucking incredible.
Fucking hell indeed.
You can't even make that up, can you?
No.
If you told someone that as well, they'd be like, on the bus, yeah, right, fuck off, lad.
Leave me alone.
You weirdo.
I thought it was a joke at first when I saw it, but obviously because I've not got TikTok or anything, I only saw it when they put it on Facebook. And like it's going back to like pushing your socials and doing all that sort of content. Like they literally did a cover of it, didn't they, as a sea shanty version. Nickelback picked up on it, and the next minute they've recorded it with Nickelback and released it. It's like, what?
See, so, Craig, there's hope. There's hope for you to get on stage with Bruce Springsteen yet, mate. There's hope. We'll do it via TikTok.
Get me a TikTok account.
Do a Born to Run sea shanty version.
That's the trend right there.
You boys are onto something.
I'm trying to envision in my head like a sea shanty version of fucking Dancing in the Dark or something like that. Just
people have done weirder.
Well, yeah, exactly. So whilst we're on the topic of, go on.
No, I was saying there's that guy at the moment. He's doing like the screamo version of Lady Gaga. So like, if that can be done, do you know what I mean? That song's more popular than the actual old song now. So yeah, you can do what you like.
Exactly. Whilst we're on the topic of Springsteen, then obviously I'm imagining with how much he's come up in conversation that he's quite a big influence to you guys. Is that right in saying?
Yeah, huge. Massive.
What was there like a certain album or period of his like career, or going over a long period of time here, but is there like a certain period of time where you like that's like the most inspired you was by it, or
can pretty much say that he's inspired every modern generation band that we love as well. It's that East Coast grit, but with the melodic punk kind of. Like, Craig can go way more into this to me because Craig's like a super fan, so I'll probably let him take over, actually.
I think if it's a specific period of his career musically, it would be the kind of Darkness on the Edge of Town, Into the River, into Nebraska, into Born in the USA, that sort of those 4 albums are just insane. Like, every single track's incredible. But just in general, like him as a person, like if you watch any kind of interview, any kind of like, or you watch any kind of concert, and you can just see how genuine and how passionate he is. And it's that kind of, I think it's that inspires you more than anything, but because he's been doing this for like, since like the 60s. Like, he started playing guitar and started in bands, and then his first album comes out in like 72, 73. And he's never stopped. Like, he's always putting out like consistent music for like he released an album last year, and it's incredible. It's amazing.
Yeah, I was about to say
that kind of consistency.
Nostalgic. He's one of the few guys you can put on now, and you generally connect with him, believe him, and like that guy is probably a billionaire, but you could sit in a pub and have a pint with him and just be real. He just gives off that vibe, and every band he seems to influence also gives off that vibe in a weird way. Like this one man's almost created a generation of music.
I think he's up there with one of the nicest guys in rock with Dave Grohl. Like, from what I've seen, like you said, with interviews, and even when he's playing live and he's invited, like with his little kids who are singing their songs right next to the stage, and he brings them on, and do you know what I mean? It's cool because having an experience like that as a young kid must be fucking something. That'll stick with you for the rest of your life. Like,
I love to show them the English way, man. I love to just sit down with them, number 101 at Weatherspoons, and just chat.
Weatherspoons?
Yeah, mate. The English way. Spoons.
The English tour way.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, there's loads of bands that have been inspired by him. Like, one of the main ones that comes to mind is Gaslight Anthem. I'm a big fan of Gaslight.
Well, you've just become Craig's best friend. We won't be speaking for the rest of the podcast.
We'll start with album 1.
59 Sound. Let's go.
Hey. Yeah. Again, massive fan. I've seen them a whole bunch of times. But yeah, like, I think it's more to do with his lyrics are just incredible. Like, and that's a massive inspiration. Like, I think that was one of the points. Like, when I heard the 59 Sound for the first time, just listening to those lyrics, like that sort of made me want to really dig deep, and like I'll sit for hours now, like rewriting and rewriting lyrics until they're the best they can be. Whereas beforehand, I never paid as much attention to them, and now they're like the main part for me. But yeah, what a band.
Here's a question for you both, actually. Is there a song that you wish you would have wrote? Is there a song that's released by any artist that you wish you could have wrote yourself?
Yeah. Craig, I bet yours is the Menzing one, isn't it?
Currently, Anna by the Menzingers off their latest album.
All right, cool. Right.
I just cannot get that song out of my head. It's always in my head, no matter what. Probably sing it in my sleep.
Do a sea shanty version.
Sea shanties. There you go.
Dude, that's the next album. Just sea shanties.
I've always imagined like what it's been like to be in a band. I guess I always thought like, how fucking cool would it just to wake up and say, "I'm the bass player for AFI." Yeah. She's a sick bass player, but they're just mad.
Is that whose dog's that?
It's not mine. Craig. For once,
it's not me. Sorry, that's why I stopped for a second, and I was like, I think it's my dog.
You've heard mine. It's mine.
Is that what is it? Is yours been back? I thought I've heard of a dog's barking on it. And I'm like,
no, that is
mine was earlier. Mine was earlier.
And mine was at the start.
Right. So
we all got a dog.
It's just you, Pearson. We just need yours to bark next, and then we're all good. Why don't we bring them all on? Should we have a doggy podcast?
I was gonna say, do you like? Shall we change the subject and get onto dogs?
Why
not? My dog will come in at some point soon and start pouring at me and wanting to.
Tell you what, the screenshot we'll get for this podcast, we've all got to go grab our dog. That's what we'll do.
Oh yeah, we'll do that. Yeah.
100%. You can witness my pug bite me because she doesn't like being picked up.
Sorry to make you suffer, mate, but it's socials. So.
Anything for the socials.
My dog is suspiciously quiet, so I don't know what he's doing. Usually at some point he would have barked because of me just randomly speaking with it being silent with the headphones on. So I don't know what he's doing.
The silence is worrying, isn't it?
Yeah. Chewing up one of your slippers, Matt.
No,
if it's a slipper, I don't mind. It's what else it could be that worries.
As long as it's not my All Saints jacket again, I think I'm all right.
Oh man,
my French bulldog chewed up my ass on my dad's vinyl when I was living back at home, and my dogs were with me.
No,
she had a nibble around the edges,
mate.
And he was like, "You know what your dog's done?" Like, no. Luckily, it was only like it wasn't like an old one. It was like a new one. It's like a Red Hot Chili Peppers. He was like, "Yep."
I love how it's like not like a full-on bite, but just like a nibble. So it's like proper planned, so you wouldn't notice it, but
enough to make it look shit. Yeah,
got to put my own grooves into that vinyl.
Custom.
Yeah. Speaking about the recording process, have you changed that up? Obviously, I know it will have from the 5 years, but what was your recording process in the beginning to what it became towards the end of the album?
Well, we do end up writing a lot in the studio as well. So we do, with a couple of the songs, they were like basically finished, but most of the album, we went into the studio with very sort of basic, rough ideas or demos. And then we do experiment a lot while we're in there. I think we're quite lucky to have, like, we record with Ian Sadler, who's about a 40-minute drive away from us.
Yes, there we go.
Ian. Ian's literally down the road from us. It just so happens that he's an amazing producer and a good friend, and he puts up with our shit.
Yeah, like he's very patient. I don't think we could take our recording process into anyone else because they just get too fucked off of us. Like me sitting in the back, like going, "No, I don't like that. No, I don't like that." Everything everyone else is doing,
and me going, "Ian, how'd you play this again? How'd you play this again? How'd you play this again?"
Oh man, I miss Emeline.
Copy and paste that bit.
Can you copy and paste that bit?
Fucking Emeline. Emeline is probably one of the funnest experiences we've ever had. With us being Northerners, we went when we was in Trapped in Autumn, the first version of it, and we were co-writing with Jamie from Anave.
Okay.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, because they're good friends, aren't they?
So this is
you done a podcast with Jamie, didn't you?
Yeah. We've done a few.
Speaking of which, Jamie uses my Zoom account. So I scheduled this podcast, and I randomly had a message from him going, "Oh, I didn't know you were doing a podcast with the Young Hearts later today." And I was like, "What? How the fuck does he know this? If we accidentally said it somewhere?" Shit myself. So
big leak.
Yeah. Oh shit, we've said it when we shouldn't have. Sorry, go on, Lon.
Oh, it's alright, it's fine. So when was that? that'd be 2013.
13,
oh
14.
My God,
yeah.
Right. So we did it the first time where we went, but we hadn't really thought ahead about accommodation, and it was bank holiday weekend. So we ended up sleeping on Ian's studio floor for 5 days.
Do you know what? This is really creepy. So in some ways, I remember Jamie being in with a band, recording with them. And we used to practice at Ian's. And there was a band that day which was sleeping on the floor. So that was probably you guys. So that's just shit.
No way.
I definitely remember that.
Yeah, because you go in and your thing you know about going to Ian's is you leave caffeine poisoning, don't you? Like, how many cups of tea do you have to? You get in your 10,000 steps just by walking to the kettle.
Yeah. Fuck, I actually remember that. I remember us waiting. We were waiting on the steps outside the studio. We were like, oh my God, when is this practice ending? So because we've been away for about like 38 hours at that point, because we caught the coach down to London. And then got a coach from London to Whitstable.
Jesus
and
Christ.
Then we was too early because they were still recording, and we were like, "Fuck, we're just gonna have to like lie on the beach or something."
Yeah. I think we used to practice something from like 7 to 11 or something like
that.
Yeah, that's insane. That's a full circle moment. That's
so it's you guys we owe the apology to.
Shit,
that was amazing.
What?
Oh, it's the last time we're invited.
Yeah.
What was that, Lon?
Saying say hello to Ian when you next see him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will. Miserable fucker.
To be fair, we haven't seen him in ages, have we?
No. I
Can't
wonder why. No. He's probably quite happy at that.
We just sat playing Mario Kart the whole time while we was there. Like, we weren't recording. One of us was just sat smashing out Mario Kart or something. Mario Kart tournament.
You had the bass player experience like me.
Yeah, mate. I got my shit done like I usually do within 2 or 3 hours, and then that's it. I'm chilling.
Go round Tesco's for a corner and come back with a week's worth of snacks.
You
2 or 3 hours. Did you want to join our band?
Bass parts take 2 days.
Not just a one take wonder. Fucking do like one line of each thing. Like, great, done.
Like, when you have to punch in each individual note, it takes longer.
Next time you're on the podcast, we'll have to surprise you with Ian randomly pop up in it.
Yeah, oh, mate, he'd love it.
That's the plan.
You'd love it.
Yeah.
Not seen him in ages though. We've not spoken to him in a while.
No, I remember mentioning to him last year about coming on the podcast. He was like, "Yeah, we'll sort it," and then we never actually did.
Look, getting in down in one place is can be
sometimes
challenging.
Yeah, you have to message him like 18 times and a picture of banana for him to reply.
Do you guys know about the banana?
I have clue.
No,
it's not as weird as it sounds. He likes his bananas a particular certain ripeness, and it just turned into a bit of a in joke where he just send us that photo now as a reply, like, "Cheers, Ian, that was important. Cheers for the banana."
And we also use the banana to get his attention. So if we send him like 9 or 10 messages, like asking him like, "Are you free then, or can we do this?" and he doesn't reply, send him a banana, and he gets back within like the next half an hour.
That's brilliant.
That's the secret.
I can't believe that. Like, that's a full circle thing.
We do this quite a lot. Weirdly, we're that, I don't know why, with that band, we're like,
we get around, don't we?
It's do you know what? It's a music scene, innit? We all kind of know each other by another band or another person in some way.
Yeah. Do you find like going to Whitstable? Do you take yourself down to the beach just to have a bit of a break? And
no, we live on the beach. We hate it.
Yeah.
No.
All right.
No.
I don't let him have a break in the studio.
There's no time.
You're there to work.
Yeah.
Craig is a dictator. He's a lovely guy. It's one of my best friends. Get in that studio and it's like, I just turn into a bumbling mess.
Yeah. Oh, fuck him. We're there to work.
I'm even like, is that tea okay?
It's
yes.
I can go and do another take.
No, it's the first thing. Like, we'll get in the studio, I'll sit down, Ian sat at the desk, and I'll just turn to Stu and go, "You got the kettle on, Stu?"
Bear in mind, there's like you're making me out to be an idiot. There's another 2 guys in our band, so we trust them less than we trust me. So
yeah, that is true. You see what I'm working with.
Does Ian still do it? Oh, go on.
Sorry, Matt. Go on.
Fucking hell. Does Ian still do it right after every take? Like tune.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
tune.
yeah.
Tune.
But I know he's got one of the Evertune guitars, or 2 of the Evertune guitars now that's
all right.
fixed in tune.
Yeah.
So like you'll turn up with your guitars to use, and he's like, maybe use this one.
Yeah.
You don't have to tune at all. But which does help. It does help. It is good.
He hates me as well because I'm left-handed. He's like, we're trying to, you try and work out a little melody. Would be give it here. Oh, for fuck's sake! He'll forget. For fuck's sake!
The one thing you don't want to hear is "give it here."
Give it here. Like that, but better.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's another one. Like that, but better.
Yeah.
Take this out.
Or the other one was, or yeah, that's good. We'll do another one.
Polite way of going around it.
100% Ian. That is the most best way as well. How you not upset a vocalist? Yeah, because if a guitar player's doing shit or you don't like a part, for some reason there's something in you where you go, nah, man, that's not the one. If someone's singing their soul, their life, and expressing every feeling they've got, and they come back and you go, mate, that was bollocks. Like, you can't do that. So you just have to go, maybe another go.
You'll definitely get it on the next one.
Have to go back to that song because your voice is worn out.
I remember there's an Ian story, but I'll mention it once we've fake ended this conversation because I don't want to get anyone in trouble about it. So I'll mention it afterwards.
I'm curious to remember what this is now, Matt.
It was like it's literally the smallest thing, but it's fucking hilarious.
We've probably roasted Ian enough already now, so
throwing him under the bus.
It's not a roasted Ian. It's someone that they recorded with, but I'm gonna tell you in a bit.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll keep it professional.
Yeah, we'll keep this professional as much as we can be, even though we've talked about bananas, tea, Mario Kart, and
dogs.
And dogs, yeah.
We haven't even gotten to the subject yet. Oh man, so much fun. Cheers for inviting me.
He doesn't get invited many places, so
this is me going out.
Mate, this is
I've even going out.
I've even put shoes on just to kind of like mark. I'm actually doing something.
Yeah.
I might go and get a beer. This is brilliant.
Oh, mate, by all means.
I might go put some trousers on this.
He really loves his postman gear.
Fucking hell. That's a shout, that. Have you not thought of maybe printing flyers and then just every time you post a letter?
Mate.
Craig, what are you doing?
Viral marketing.
Well, what are you not doing?
Yeah.
I
might have to look into if there's any rules against that. But
I was going to say, let's hope your work doesn't watch this.
That's not a bad shout, though.
Yeah, man.
They will never know it's me anyway. I'll just say it was the bloke after me.
About 1,000 of his customers wouldn't know how to use a download code, but it'd be fine.
It doesn't matter. Stick QR codes on. They'll go somewhere.
I still don't know how to use them. I'm old as hell.
We'll get on to the segments now. Yeah. Let's. So the first one is, what's your favourite scary movie? And if you don't like horror movies, it's not a big deal. We'll talk about why you don't like them.
I really like my cheesy slashers, but one of the more recent ones, it wasn't necessarily really scary. It was just creepy. Was It Follows?
Oh, mate, I love that movie.
Yeah.
It's just like eerie. The idea that you could go to the other end of the earth and this thing would follow you no matter what. You could almost forget about it, but you can never, ever, ever relax or have fun because this thing eventually will get you. There's that constant anxiety and throughout the whole film just leaves you on edge. Yeah. And then like the Slender Man thing in it, and like I think there's a little bit of a, I think the way it was passed on, I thought was a bit okay, that's a bit far-fetched at the very beginning of the film, because it's like, if there's a spoiler, but like it's carried by like sexual activity, isn't it? And I thought that's the only cop out in the whole film, I think. But the rest of it, I think, is brilliant.
Yeah, I think it's the constant pace of it, isn't it? That it's not in a rush to come and get you. It's similar to what, like,
it definitely terrified me, that film.
Yeah.
Definitely.
There's this one bit where they're just like kind of reminiscing, they're going for a bit of a deep-hearted moment. And the camera is really clever because it keeps doing that thing where it's going to and forth, one face, their face. And you can just see something in the back, but it takes like they're having this conversation for like 3 minutes. It's quite a long filmed part. And it's just things getting closer and closer. And it's just the thing following them. And you can just see it in the background getting closer. Yeah. And it's like, you don't realise. And the audience don't realise until like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, that shit me up. Love it.
The soundtrack on that is amazing as well.
That is the whole synth kind of 80s. Yeah. Like, I believe that film in a way made that kind of popular again because like Drive started doing it and stuff like that. And there
was that bit where you say it's like the Slender Man character. We mentioned this. We did a Horror Fest series basically back in October, and It Follows was in it. And we mentioned about this certain scene in which I think it's that he comes through like the door frame behind someone.
Yeah.
The Slender Man character.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, watching that back again.
It's giving me the creeps just talking about that film.
It's just so casual it is. It's not like running at you or anything. It's just like it's casually. It's like
so I love my slashers because you know what they are, and I do find you get a lot of horror films that are trying too hard to scare you because you know every second they're going to pack into, but the subtleties and that is the storytelling, and then the impact. And it's kind of there's a series which I watched recently. Was it House on a Haunted Hill or something?
Yeah,
there's on Netflix.
Something like
One in the Hill House, isn't it?
That's the one.
Yeah. That's got some moments, man. I'm 31. I'm like shit. And like that's got another Slender Man in it. And when the boy is under the stairs, under his bed, and he coughs and he comes back, and you're just like, oh my god.
That's another one that's full of like subtle little freaky parts as well.
I was watching Gogglebox the other day, and one of the people just come out with like, fuck that, I would have just killed myself. I can understand that. Why would you live there?
That's when you know you got some free time, Stu, when you're watching Gogglebox. Jesus.
do you not have a silly program which you just put on for eating your tea? You don't care if you watch it or not. It's like background noise. It's one of them in it. You don't actually watch it.
Oh, it's The Simpsons, hands out. Yeah. That's the background. Right.
Fucking hell. Singers have always got to be cool, haven't they?
See, I mentioned mine last time. It was Police Interceptors. Just watching people getting tackled while I'm eating my tea, like there's nothing better.
I can imagine you proper engrossed it, just like, oh, what's going to happen?
Never eat your dinner. Go on.
Tea's going cold. Tea's going cold.
Get in.
What about you anyway, Craig? What's one of your favourite scary movies?
I think, so again, like Stu, I'm a big slasher fan, and the first Scream film is just incredible. I love that film. But more recently, I watched the film Us, and I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that. But yeah, I only watched that a couple of months ago. It was one of the ones that I saw. I wanted to go and see it at the cinema, and it's just one of those things I couldn't get round to. And then I watched it on the telly, and I thought, "Oh, this is fucking brilliant." Watched it really late at night on my own in the dark as well, so that always helps.
These it's like the newer what would you call them? It's almost like really, really intense, like thriller horrors. The new kind of there's this new breed of horror.
Yeah. Have you seen Ryan's tattoo of his Us tattoo?
I know he's got it, but I haven't seen it. But
incredible.
It's unreal. It looks so good. I
literally, when I'm craving a movie, we only know Ryan from being a promoter, but Ryan's actually, I felt like he's become a bit of a friend to us. So I am always just like, Ryan, what have you got? What's good? And he'd be like, oh, try watching this. He's always got these like little things when I'm like tapping away. He probably sees me, fuck's sake, it's another horror, fuck's sake. Like, Ryan, what's good? What's good? Always got stuff.
Fix me up.
Yeah, he loves movies.
He's even got there's like the Netflix version of like a horror of Netflix, isn't it?
Oh,
yeah,
Shudder.
Yeah. It's like a £10 subscription just for scaring the shit out of yourself 24/7.
It's got some amazing stuff on there as well, though. If you ever bored and
documentaries.
I mean, it's a great thing about lockdown. We've all got time to kill. They do some like good horror documentaries on there as well.
Yeah, don't tell my girlfriend, mate. She would just have him. That's all we'd watch. Anything which someone's been killed, there's some kind of conspiracy about them being killed. I mean, last Christmas, not this one, the one before, she made us watch Don't Fuck with Cats, and I was like, Jesus Christ!
Oh, mate, that's fucked up. That
Merry Christmas.
Man. Yeah. Yeah, you can't write that shit. I remember watching that for the first time. I was like, "Is this for real?" Like, I couldn't believe that actually happened.
I almost switched it off within the first 10 minutes. I was so close to switching it off. I was like, nah, I can't watch this.
10:30 in the morning with my Bucks Fizz and my Baileys, and
in
watching
one glass.
this. Yeah, mate.
In one glass.
Christmas is like tour.
The food's better at Christmas.
It is. Especially when you're vegetarian.
Are you a veggie?
Oh, yeah, unfortunately.
There's nothing wrong with being a veggie.
It'd be good. Eater, but like... it'd be great, but I don't really necessarily like vegetables.
Yeah, that will factor into it.
That's brilliant.
Let's just say I don't like eating meat. There you go. Vegetarian's the wrong word.
Stu, it's a shame we didn't have Aaron on for this horror movie question.
Why? Because we'd talk about him pissing his pants.
No, yeah, basically.
What?
The guy,
Aaron does not do well with horror.
Please tell.
Do horror.
Did we trick him one time to watching a horror with us?
We tried to. We were gonna go to the cinema, and we told him we were gonna see something else, but we were gonna go and see. I don't even think it was like the Halloween, like latest Halloween one or something like that.
Yeah.
And he sort of clocked on. He was like, no, I'm not going. And I think he did get tricked once into watching Paranormal Activity, and it literally
he told him it was like a documentary
it.
about something weird, and he's like, he was already really bad before that, but now we're like, he can't even think about watching a scary movie.
No.
He's all in with his rom-coms now.
Yeah, he loves his chick flicks and rom-coms.
Yeah, bless him.
But you couldn't get him. You couldn't pay him to watch a horror movie.
We should try and trick him again, because we do watch parties where we'll watch a horror together and fucking talk about it. We'll just tell him it's a podcast and we're having you on again.
Yeah, it would be like, Aaron, they want the other members of the band in it now.
That's what we'll do.
Scare the shit out of him.
Yeah. Honestly, it'd be so funny.
But you're going to have to do it before he listens to this, because he'll know.
Good point. Yeah, I'll edit this bit out. I'll edit. Do either of you have a cheesy horror movie that you know is shit, but you really enjoy? And I'm only thinking of that because for some reason I decided to watch Freddy vs. Jason the other night. And it's just, yeah. Yeah,
I think, it's just,
that's a film.
It's weird you said that, but because that is a really, for some reason I remember that really well, because like the El Nino done the soundtrack for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was loads of bands like
that. Well, they put, actually, it's got quite a big...
Wasn't like Kill Switch and
Shadows
Fall
right.
and Atreyu and all that.
Actually. Like. Yeah, fucking hell, what a soundtrack.
Soundtrack was better than the film.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, if no one's watching it, save time, just listen to the soundtrack.
Yeah, there's a few, like, going back to... You watch them and you watch them back as an adult, and where you used to think they were really good, and you're like, oh my god, that's terrible.
That's exactly what I had with this. I was like, they tried to give Jason mouth to mouth, Like, I can't get on board now.
With his
As a kid, I
mask
was like, this is sick.
The Freddy pinball machine bit.
Oh, mate.
God.
Oh, I haven't watched it that long. I'm now going to have to watch it.
Yeah.
Because I have seen it a little bit as I've got older, but it's probably still been like 10 years. Show my age now.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I watched it probably, as a kid when you had your mates around, thought it would be cool to watch. And now watching it as an adult, I was like, this is dog shit. But yeah.
It's not aged well.
No, a lot of films, like you go back to them, like you just ruin it. Isn't there like, I think that's kind of the appeal in early slashers because they're cheesy, but you still enjoy it for some reason.
Yeah,
like
tasteful
into it.
Yeah. It's just that like cliche. Like they made like scary movies. All the cliches in it. It's like, yeah, that's gonna happen.
Yeah,
but you still kind of like get you in a way. It's great.
Well, it's like you were saying, Craig, with Scream. Like Scream's very meta in that way, and it references all those things that we see as cheesy and.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, all
it
the
like plays on it, doesn't it?
Yeah. That's why I love that movie as well.
Yeah.
And that's why you have like
sure
17 Ghostface masks.
Yeah, pretty much. and a statue of him in the corner of the room. As well.
Was there one?
Oh my god.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a fucking horrifying room to walk in. That.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Fucking hell. There was it's gone on the top of my head. I knew this would happen. There's a Mimic. Do you remember Mimic? Is it Mimic? So basically, like they're essentially bugs which have. So in the wild, like lots of things like mimics its prey and stuff like that to then catch what it's gonna eat. Essentially, so these bugs, they in the shadows, they kind of look like human figures, and like you see them wearing like a trench coat and a hat, and like they put their claws up to their face, and it kind of like looks like a human face when their claws are up to their face. I remember watching it thinking, like, this is intense and this is amazing. I remember going up to him like, it's a fucking bug in a corner wearing a fucking trilby and a trench coat, trying to get off being fucking, trying to get off like he's pretending he's popping on the train.
That does sound quite good though when you were saying it.
It's got a really good basis, but it's just I think it's the way it's filmed. Like if it was done today, it'd probably be unreal, but it's got a few like, that's a bit shit. But the concept of it's great. But yeah, I remember watching it like last year, and I think I probably watched it when I was 13. I was like, that's not the same film, is it?
Yeah, it's surprising when stuff does that. That's our next watch party then. Mimic. That's what we'll be watching next.
But it is crazy how stuff progresses like that, because I'm watching that horror documentary on Shudder. It was showing all these different ones from the 80s, like The Blob, like a remake of The Blob. Like there's literal blob going around and just swallowing towns and people. It's like, it's crazy because that at one point, maybe when in the 40s when it first came out, that was terrifying for people. I know you look at it and you think, what? Like a fucking blob.
Kind of like turn that on its head. Have you got any ones where you're like, that's aged really fucking well? Or you can see why it scared the shit out of people so much when it first come out?
I guess The Exorcist is one of them, isn't it?
Yeah,
like,
definitely top. And also the American Werewolf?
Yeah.
That's
nobody wanted to walk through Wales on their own after that, did they?
No, that's like you still watch that now, and that transformation, the first transformation. And bear in mind that was like in the 70s.
70s, yeah.
Yeah, that's still a pretty eerie film.
Yeah. For the effects as well, like you said, with the transformation of the werewolf, I think that was like ahead of its time.
That going back to that fucking 80s Shudder documentary, it's like a 4-hour documentary all about 80s horror.
Oh, but, mate, you've got to send me it.
Mate, it's on Shudder. It's worth it. It's like 2 parts, isn't there? So each part's 4 hours long.
Yeah,
I've been trying to save money, boys. I'm now going to have to sign up to Shudder because
I promise you it's worth it. But essentially, the that and the Howling were competing for the best werewolf transformation.
Yeah,
that was the big.
I don't think I've seen the Howling. Yeah. There's a lot of werewolves ones I haven't seen. I think one of the biggest. Yeah, it's a massive genre. I think it's like one of them ones where you almost try and ignore it because it's almost overplayed.
Yeah, do you know what? I've never seen any werewolf movie. I've never bothered with it.
Yeah, you gotta watch the old school one then. Stuff, yeah.
In my drive from watching Goosebumps. You remember Goosebumps back in the day?
What? Nickelodeon?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
No, it was Fox Kids. Fox Kids.
Was it Fox?
Jesus.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's this one where a grandma and kids are staying over, and a fucking swamp monster comes out.
Yeah.
And they push him in the grandma's gumbo soup or something like that. And I still think that's fucking terrifying.
It's on Netflix now.
There was some fucked up episodes on there, like the werewolf episode where they go to their aunt and uncle. This guy goes to his aunt and uncle's, finds out there's a scary house next door, and it turns out they're werewolves. And there's a scene where they're literally shedding the skin on it, and it's like this is a fucking kids program. No, so fucked up.
I think they made that program just to test how kids would react to it and be like, "You will grow from this experience."
Yeah. There was some freaky shit in that program. Like I remember that one. Was it Say Cheese and Die? Used to really freak me.
Yeah.
Where like you take the photos and just people like die. Like, hey, fucking hell.
Yeah, like legit. If that was on TV nowadays, like the snowflakes would be all over.
It wouldn't be on TV.
The snowflakes would be all over it.
You like to think because now we don't have as much watershed. They wouldn't show anything like that.
No, not at all.
The snowflakes would be all over.
Yeah, they would though, wouldn't they? Complaining about all sorts of shit going on in it. You know what happened, but we live through the best times anyway. At least we experienced it.
I assume, like any other good upbringing, you guys all watch your first horror movie at an auntie's because your mum and dad said you couldn't watch it at your house or something like that. Because my auntie just let me watch everything. Everything. Don't tell your mum and dad. Come on. I'll watch Terminator 8.
Do you remember what one of your first horror movies was that you watched?
No, not the very first. I just remember, like, I think it was kind of like that. Oh, yeah, actually. Do you know what? It's a really bad one. I watched Aliens 2. So it's not as scary as the first one.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty messed up, yeah. Yeah, that was the first one I remember going, this is something scary, and I probably should have listened to the age certificate.
What about you, Craig? Do you remember the first horror movie you ever?
I think it could have been American Werewolf in Paris. I remember watching.
Shit, yeah. I think I've only ever watched that once, but
yeah. I think I watched that when I was in like year 6. Like,
wait, there's a sequel?
Yeah, man.
Is it?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah. This has been out 20 years, hasn't it? And I haven't known.
Oh, mate, it's been out longer than that.
Way longer than that.
I said, I think I watched it when I was in year 6. Like, I had some pals, like, for, like, a sleepover. And, like, one of my mates brought it. He brought The Matrix, and he brought that. And, I think that was one of the first ones I watched, American Werewolf in Paris. But I don't think I've watched it since, to be honest.
I have got to go and watch it.
I can't remember what it was like.
Did it all existed?
Yeah, I didn't.
Mind blown.
Straight. That one was straight onto VHS, so I shouldn't.
Yeah.
I think it was, to be honest. Yeah.
Just go through different places. Next, it was like Spain.
American Werewolf in Beijing.
Benidorm.
To Benidorm.
Magaluf or something like that.
They've done crossovers. Macaulay Culkin's trying to defend this werewolf from his house. Still.
Oh, man.
That is the second time in the past month where Macaulay Culkin's come up in a podcast.
Mate, he's amazing. He's amazing. He's had a hard life. But them two films, they're brilliant. They're banging.
Oh, Home Alone is the greatest movie ever.
He's actually done some other alright films as a kid. But yeah. He was in this really creepy thriller actually once where he's like I don't know if you know which one I'm on about. He's basically like a psychopath. No, he's adopted. No, he's not. He lives with someone, and he's the adopted kid. And he basically like just wants to kill the parents and the kid. I can't remember the name of it. No. No, it's Macaulay Culkin. It's old.
I might have to check it out. Honest to God, like I've only ever watched 2 films with him in Home Alone 1 and 2. I feel bad saying that. I should really check more out. But yeah, I'd love to have him on the podcast, man. He'd be cool to have a chat with. He's been on Joe Rogan, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we just casually get Macaulay on it.
Yeah.
You got dream big.
Yeah.
So what you been up to, Macaulay? Don't mention crack or gambling. Don't mention crack or gambling.
Fucking hell.
Sorry if he's listening.
Yeah, he is a regular listener of this podcast as well.
Yeah, man.
Most engaging person on our Discord chat. Right.
It's funny you mentioned Discord. That's a thing now, isn't it? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it is.
Fucking hell.
We've been trying. We're trying, aren't we?
We're trying to come into the modern generation.
Yeah. Another one to add to the list.
I'm only just getting a hold of it myself. I keep saying to these two, I was like, there's so many different like things on there. I mean, it's cool that you've got all these different categories on there that you can talk about different subjects on. But even now, I'm just trying to catch up with it. Like, I feel like an old man when it comes to that, trying to just figure out the different things behind it. But we'll get there with it. We'll get there.
Right, moving on from Discord. So we'll go to our last segment. So we do a segment called Pet Peeves. So the rules are you tell us what pisses you off and we go from there.
I'll let you start, Stu.
Give some context, because I could just be naming everything.
It could be the smallest thing, just what's pissed you off recently. What grinds your gears? What really gripes you?
If someone's asking you to do something, but they've seen it first, and they could have done it themselves.
In it. Yeah.
And they're like, someone points something out to you, and the time it's taken them to ask you, they could have just done it themselves. That's number one at the moment, I think.
That feels like a very lockdown.
That is.
No. It goes to being at work. It goes to being a band of 3 dickheads. It goes with everything. I sound like that guy off 8 out of 10 Cats, the really like monotone smart one, don't I?
To be fair, that's a fair one. What about you, Craig?
Well, I get. Yeah, bass. No, it's you. not bass players, mate. Just you. No, I think I do a lot of driving, and so there's other drivers piss me off more than anything. I mean, Stu's witnessed this, like when I've been driving to band practice or driving on tours and stuff.
You've never heard someone say the word cunt so much in one drive. And this was when we're just going to band practice, and that was a 40-minute drive.
But it's not I'm not like a crazy driver or anything like that. It's people, just little things like people who don't indicate at roundabouts, like that gets me going really, really bad, because just don't get me started on that. And then just people who like tailgate you and stuff like that, or people who don't know what they're doing. Yeah, driving, because I do so much of it, like there's so many times where I've got mildly annoyed at certain things. What else was going? And then I think like more recently with all this pandemic, it's people that cannot social distance. Like you wouldn't believe, like just like in a supermarket, like you're standing up there like looking at a shelf or whatever, and someone comes up and almost puts their arm over your shoulder to grab something, and you're just standing there like going, what are you doing?
100%. I've had that way too much lately.
It's all the time.
Yeah.
I think you've got me in a deep hole now because my brain's just thinking of so many. But this lockdown has triggered some new ones. But it's just the general public deciding they know your rules. Because I'm a barber, so they will come into our place and dictate to us and tell us what we have to do in this new pandemic. We're like, you don't understand. These are our shop rules. You have to follow them. But do they listen? God, no. Jesus Christ.
It is just pure ignorance of other people, not thinking about, they might not be comfortable with that. It's fine if you are, but the amount of times someone's brushed shoulders with me in a supermarket.
Yeah.
You want to swing for them?
Yeah, and it's just impatience, isn't it? It's just impatience. Like they can't wait a few seconds for you to move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. The
I
other
think
one
that's the most justified one we've had.
Yeah. 100%
of pet peeves.
I was going to add to that with the all the pandemic stuff. The main gripe for me is people who wear masks but leave the nose out.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Or the eye patch. Some people almost have them like across here and
just
under their chin.
Yeah. Just round in. Or my girlfriend worked in an audiologist, so basically supplies people hearing aids for the NHS. And she'll have people come in, they'll take the mask off straight away, and she'll go, "Can you put the mask back on?" And they'll go, "Sorry, I can't hear you." They'll pull it down. Mate. They'll pull it down. Like, what's that got to do with your ears?
Jesus Christ.
What's that got to do with your ears? I love her stories.
Oh my God, that's good.
Old people in a pandemic. Oh.
It's not just the old people, though.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yeah, it's everyone.
General public, bless them.
People.
All the people sharing conspiracy theories is my new favourite one. Not just ones which are a little bit silly, just ones where people are telling you where you're getting bloody Bill Gates to put a microchip in your arm and all that shit. Them ones, yeah. That's another peeve at the moment.
So yeah, this
knocking down 5G.
The length people will go to persuade you. My favorite conspiracy theory I've heard recently is that all birds are drones.
All birds are drones?
Yeah.
Wow.
In 2012, there was a lowest population of birds. So the government replaced them all as drones, and that's why they sit on telephone wires to charge up.
That's brilliant.
Wow.
It's the best.
Oh dear.
I'd love to be that person who's got the job of the frigging seagull who shits on my bloody window. I want to get paid minimum wage to control that bird to shit on other people's windows.
That's a job we can get behind.
I reckon there must be a job for someone who makes up these bullshit conspiracy theories. There must be some guy going, "Oh, what should we do next? Oh, yeah, what about all birds as drones? Yeah, that'll get some people going. Stick that online."
We'll start a Discord and we'll get some ideas together and we'll send them out and see which ones get back to us.
It's definitely just some guy having a laugh, like putting stuff online and just seeing what happens.
Yeah, someone in a deep hole on Reddit. It's definitely come from Reddit.
He just sat there going, "Oh, fucking Karen's going to tell her mates this one. Go on, let's tell them."
Let's just watch this unfold.
Fucking hell.
I remember I worked in a phone retail shop a couple of years back, and there was always this woman who came in with foil on her head.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Because she thought of the signals from the shop would affect her brain.
Wow.
We're like, so what type of foil do you use? Is there a specific type, or is it...
What type of phone did you want? That's what I want to know. Did you go for hands-free, Bluetooth?
No, radio wire, just like winding it up.
You got to wind it up.
Jesus
Bringing
Christ.
a cup.
Mental.
Although I also worked at a phone shop, and the amount of times I had people go, "I've heard they can hear what I'm saying," and I'm like, "Yeah, I can. I know they can see what I search." I'm like, "What are you searching that concerns someone else is looking at? No one's bothered about what you do. Take the phone." Yeah. Sorry, that was my little rant. I just relived that moment.
No, I just kind of zoned in. Yeah. I was behind you in person then, just thinking, you dirty bastards.
No, you've had your fair share of experiences, haven't you? Like both Matt's going on people's phones, helping them out and finding nudes and shit.
Oh, don't.
Yeah.
There is one that I will always remember. It was this guy, and he must have been about 60 or something like that. And he came in with his tablet, and he was like, I can't find any of my pictures or my videos on my tablet. I was like, okay. I was like, please don't be a dirty bastard. Please don't be a dirty bastard. So go on to it, check his gallery, nothing there. And I was like, all right, so what we'll do is we'll put your memory card in, we'll take it out, put it back in and see if that works. Did that for the split second, it was like clear. I was like, great. It's probably just his gardening or something like that. And then all of a sudden, it was like he'd videoed web chat with women.
Oh.
But whilst it was loading and turning back on, it was like, is it illegal to record videos? And I was like, are you on about like Whoa. Antiques Roadshow? Or are we like, what? And it was just like, I was like, it might be something to do with copyright or something like that. And it came on, I was like, oh, get out my shop, you disgusting bastard.
Yeah. How would you be professional in them times? I can relate. Customers will come in and they will try and show you, oh, I've got a photo of a haircut I want, and they haven't got it loaded up, so they go through the camera roll.
Oh no!
And they're holding it up, and they're just, and so you can see the things that glint past your eyes. You're like, you just don't know. I just tell me two back and sides, please.
Oh, just tell me two back and sides.
If you think that's a horror story, I've
way up. I bet you have some good stories.
So. Out on delivery, a lovely summer's day, go up to one house and got a parcel for him. So I knock on the door. Probably bloke in his late 50s, early 60s, little bit tubby, opens the door, stark bollock naked.
Bro.
Like, completely not a thing on.
What?
I mean, what do you say to that? And like, he was really happy. He was really happy.
In his face,
not in that place. Just like very jolly. He almost did a little run up to the door. You could see through the glass bit that he started jogging up to the door.
Oh, mate.
And so I was just like, oh, hello, mate. Just like looking away. I got the parcel there. And then I later found out, I got back to the van where I met up with the guy I was out on delivery with, and I was about like, oh, you never guess what? And he was like, number 2, yeah. Like, he's a nudist. I was like, oh, thanks for that, mate. Cheers. His whole family, apparently.
Craig, would you say that that's the first time that someone's had a package for you at the door?
Yes.
Oh.
But, yeah, so when you see it in the flesh, it's
literally.
Yeah, it's bad.
Oh no, it's like we've got to level up with each story then.
We started off as pet peeves, and now we're talking about penises at a door.
Penises at a door.
Oh, that bombshell.
It's like a warm up.
Yeah, man.
Right. I think that's everything.
That is a way to end.
Yeah, that's a brilliant end.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, we're still yet to hear this other story, aren't we? When the recording stops.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll do a say goodbye and all that.
Right, okay. Say goodbye. So, recovering from that story.
I'm picturing that scene off Austin Powers, and he's like on about the mole on the person's face, but you're stood there instead, just like kind of looking away. Awkwardly.
Exactly
can't talk about the bloody penis.
Yeah, I've got a penis here. I mean, your package for you, mate.
Oh, did he have to sign?
No, I signed for it myself, mate. Like that.
I put attempted.
Right, we'll do a fake goodbye ending on that beautiful story. Before we do, let everyone know they should go stream the Modern State right now.
Try and big it up.
It's available on.
No pressure.
It's available on all platforms. Basically all major streaming platforms. We do have physical copies which you can get off our websites of all social media. Basically that's how you can listen to the album.
And tell all your friends as well.
Yeah, share, play it, tell your nan.
Your nan might like it. We do pretty well with the older people.
Yeah, they get leaflets in the doors, don't they?
Yeah.
So.
Especially that guy at number 2.
Yeah. Right. Thank you very much for taking the time and coming on the podcast, boys. Really appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks for having us, guys. It's been a blast.
Thank you, guys.
That was episode 47 with the Young Carts.
And if you enjoyed that conversation, make sure you go stream The Modern State and go show it some love, share it around. And as we spoke about, Craig will be giving you leaflets in your doors promoting it.
Amazing. And if you did like that podcast, there is years of episodes that you can go and check out. Make sure you check it out on all the podcasting platforms, like you've probably just listened to this on, unless you're on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, fair enough, go check out the others. They're also on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Or
They're all
anything.
linked down below anyway.
But we have a question for you. Do you like coffee? Do you like dogs? Do you like knowing about being able to answer questions? Just fire over to us so we can ask our guests even before the episode is released. Well, we have the place for you. We have a Discord. So if you go to the Earful Podcast Discord, which is the link below, you can join the conversation and listen to all the shit we talk about outside of the podcast. It is probably not that interesting sometimes, but it's worth knowing anyway.
I feel like that needed some of that music behind it then. Do you like to see an advert?
Yeah, check that in, definitely. Fucking hell.
Yeah, enjoyed the episodes. I mean, you've already watched it.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Jesus.